Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. This is Sean from AZ Education, and today we're going to talk about reading in CELPIP and reading in IELTS. When we look or fish out for the keywords in the question, a lot of things go into play. One is looking at those keywords. Okay, so if I have a keyword like economics in the question, and the next question has the word, um, let's say, science. I have to not just look at those words. I have to slightly, because if I go up, sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes I'll just find that exact word in the description, and that's enough. But most likely, 80% of the times, you will find a synonym of that word. So all you got to do is, if you see the word economics, try to think in your brain the different combinations of the word economics. It could be finance, it could be money, it could be commercial. If you think about the word, let's say the next word, for example, is health. Okay, so you can think about health, diseases, medicine, medical, and nowadays vaccines. So you can imagine all these words, because now your job is to go up in the passage. You're doing reading comprehension, you're going up in the passages and trying to find the location of that answer. It's very likely that it's paraphrased, so don't rely on those exact same words, but rely on paraphrasing. Now, the best exercise to do is, let's say if you're doing, let's say, the list of heading questions in IELTS, or the part 3 of CELPIP reading, where you look at the bunch of questions and then go in the passage to try to find out answers. The best thing to do is to look at all the questions. Look at all the questions and look at the keywords. I'll give you a little exercise here. I have some, I'm looking at part 3 of the CELPIP exam, and this is not just for IELTS or CELPIP, this is for any reading comprehension exercise. So what I have here is question number 1. It says, park visitation is dependent upon approval from the Aboriginal nations. Okay, so my keyword here is Aboriginal. Most likely they will not change that, but park visitation, I cannot rely on that. That's such a common word that can be easily replaced. So maybe they're going to say approving people into parks needs Aboriginal people. Or maybe they say a paper has to be signed to get approval. So maybe a contract, a paper, or signature, or let's say permission has to be granted. I'm thinking of all these words in my brain, all these phrases, because any one of them can be used instead of the words in the question. When I go in the passage, it can be paraphrased. Next question says, regulated commercial activities are carried out within the park's boundaries. Commercial activities, it's not necessary that I'm going to see that word. I might see a synonym, most likely I will. So I'm thinking commercial activities, buying and selling, economics, marketing, or let's say there's purchase and sales, economics. All those words, all of them have to be in my head. Then the next question, and so on. So the thing is, you might think it's going to take a lot of time, but it's only because I'm telling this to you. When you think in your brain, it's much faster. And even if it takes a few seconds, let's say it takes you 5 to 10 seconds per question, that's good. Use that time. If you use this method, you will take more time in reading the questions. You'll probably take a minute in reading the questions. Then your stress will build up because now you're going to the first passage and already you've spent so much time reading the questions. However, when you go and read the passage, you will find the answer much faster. Because now, whatever word they're using, however they have rephrased it, you will catch it. Okay? And then you'll do the next question faster and the next question faster, and easily towards the end, you'll pick up time much faster. So dedicate that time to reading and understanding and paraphrasing the question. Now in 2021, examiners are very smart. So they paraphrase words a lot. They know that we are already doing it, so they're taking it a step further and paraphrasing it. What you just got to do is do more paraphrasing, and eventually you'll catch up on a word. The reason why this works is because let's say if you think of the word flight, okay, and then you will see that in passages, there was actually an IELTS passage like that. It was more like airborne or aerial. That's how the word flight was replaced. So if you think of it like that, you think of a few synonyms, the examiners will think the same way. Examiners are human beings too. They pretty much have the same, well, a little better, but pretty much have the same range of vocab or same range of thinking that you would have. So think with paraphrasing and you'll catch it when the examiners point it out. Let me give you a few examples. There was this question number 6 in this passage. It says, the park has received important recognition from an international institution. Okay, now if I'm looking for the word international institution, it was impossible to find. What they wrote in the paragraph that was matching this point was they said that among Canadian national parks, Cloyne National Park and Reserve stands out, being declared a United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1979. What you can see here is they didn't say that it's an international institution, but they're saying United Nations and it's UNESCO and it's a World Heritage Site. So it means it's an international institution. Now, if you would have looked at the word international institution and you think about United Nations or different continents or the word global and stuff like that, and you go in this paragraph and you see this being said, you're gonna catch it. Okay, it won't skip your mind because again, that's what the examiners are trying to do. They're trying to make you think it's not relevant. But if you paraphrase this question in your brain, it will be relevant. It will click. You will say, wait, this is the same thing like an international institution. So that's one thing. There's another example. For example, they were talking about, where's this part? Designation of the area as a natural reserve negatively impacted Aboriginal people. Okay, so negatively impacted, right? You're looking for the word negative, but that was never mentioned. What they said was, the matching paragraph for this, they said, soon after in 1942, the area was declared a wildlife reserve, cutting off natural resources to the people who depended on it. So what we see here is this is a problem for people because their resources are being cut off, and that is negative. So now, again, if you just think of the word negative, you won't get the answer because it's highly paraphrased. But if you think of, okay, negative, maybe something bad happened to someone suffered, or it was not good, it was unethical, and you see the suffering here in the words that say that cutting off natural resources, you're gonna be like, this matches, okay? So the key when you match questions with paragraphs, or even with multiple choice questions, you see some keywords in the question, you want to go in the passage and match them, the key is to look at the keywords, remember them, but also paraphrase them. So if anything close to that is mentioned when you're reading, you catch it. Okay, the other thing is, when you imagine all these things, it'll help you remember more. I said read all the questions, right? But you're gonna think, well, I won't remember everything. Surprisingly, you will. If I think of the word economics and I think money, notes, bills, ATM, etc. If I think of health, I think of hospital beds, injections, medicine, and so on. I'm putting all these images in my head. And when you start reading, one of those things you will capture it, and that will match the image you have in your head. It will feel familiar, it'll push you to read it further and match it with the question. And that's the beauty of imagining and paraphrasing the different things in the question before you go in the passage. Try that, I am sure it will work. It has worked for every one of my students. It has worked for me, and it should work for you. Let me know in the comments how it goes. Maybe you have a better strategy. Maybe this one turns out to be the best one. But I would love to hear your feedback on it and try it out, see how it goes. Let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and subscribe to my channel for more tips and tricks. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be uploading a video on IELTS prep. Thank you and take care.